Hello YouTube and welcome to part 2 of what my choices are, options are, whilst I have a sailboat that's stuck on the rocks. So if you're watching this thinking part 2 and you've not seen part 1 yet, I will either manage to attach here the link, but editing on my phone's not so easy, or the link will be in the description if you've not seen that already. But in part 1 we got up to one option, which was whether or not we could just run away and leave the boat. We decided that's probably not a good idea, so in this we're going to go through the rest of the options that are available, and if you think there's any more options, let me know in the comments if there's anything I've not thought of. But straight on to option 2 then is leaving it to the professionals. So by professionals I don't mean the lifeboat. We don't really have that option. We would have the option of the lifeboat to tow us, but not to do all the rest. So I'll get onto it a bit later on about what's already happened, but just for the sake of the options, in case you ever find yourself stuck on a beach in the south of France on a sailboat with no insurance or money, option 2 would be to leave it to the professionals. So the pros of that would be, it's not dangerous to me or anybody else who might be helping me. The professionals have done it time and time again. By professionals I mean a private company that you give a chunk of money, and a big chunk of money, and they're going to come salvage, tow the boat to a port basically. So yeah, they know what they're doing, so it's probably less dangerous, they've got all the equipment, etc. Another pro is I could probably still salvage bits after. The boat's not just going to be taken to somewhere outside of my control. And yeah, going back to what I was saying in the last episode and having to focus on, surviving and all the rest of it now, not having to spend, not necessarily the time, but trying to get it done, it wouldn't necessarily be peace of mind, but it would be definitely less of an ordeal. And in the short term it would be easier to focus on the things I needed to do. The cons are the obvious one: it would cost a fortune. Yeah, we're talking thousands. Cheaper than if it ends up the authorities do it, but yeah, it's gonna be thousands. To mix the two options together with option 3 actually is, if it gets left to the authorities, and I will let you know I have already received a notice of, I think I've now got 12 days remaining to get the boat off the beach, or the authorities do it. So just then I was not talking about the authorities, I was talking about a private company. If the authorities do it, we'll say that's option 3. They're just going to do it. They're going to send me whatever they want to send me in regards to a bill. As I say, it's not the lifeboat that would be doing it. They might use the lifeboat, I'm not entirely sure who they use when this happens, but they're going to put it to the closest possible place they can put it. And pros to that is it's done. That's, yeah, I don't have to do it, so the same pros as the option before. However, sorry, I was checking it's not stopped recording. Yeah, they're going to do it. I ain't got any control where it goes. It's going to go into a port. I'm automatically going to get not only a huge bill, and to put an estimate on it, they don't tell you how much it's going to cost. It depends on man hours, how many people, time, but you can guarantee you're not paying a small day rate. You're going to be paying probably 10 people, I don't know how much of a day rate, but it's going to take them some time. Not only do they need to tow it somewhere, they need to make it floatable. If they did it too, they're likely to just tip it from the side it's on. I'm not sure exactly how to do it. I mean, they must get boats onto the beach, but there'd be no worry about additional damage on their part. They just put it so it's not on the beach. That's their concern, that it's on the beach. get taken to a shipyard, and as I say, it won't get taken to this shipyard I'm in. It would get taken to just the closest one probably that would allow it there, and we're probably then incurring straight away a monthly bill, and we'd just be in a never-ending trap of money, you know, however many thousands straight away on the cost of it, plus then a monthly amount on top. So we can agree probably that's if we can, and this has been what the last however long since this has happened, is how that can be prevented, because I don't have the option to use the private company, use insurance. I know we won't go into it again in this video. You can check back to the other video where I explain that. And if you do have any questions, send me them in the comments, and I will do a video where I just go through the questions, because it'll probably stop me spending a long time trying to justify everything I feel like I need to justify or explain. But yeah, the fact of the matter is there is no insurance. It would cost an absolute fortune. We'll get into it later on or in another video how this all came about anyway, but it would cost a fortune. So option 4 is beg, borrow and do it. So if we could get the boat back onto the water ourselves, this is what this option's about. Tow it to where would be the best place to tow it, which was where originally we was going to put it, and put it here. Not obviously back then to potentially end up going to the boat graveyard, but at the time it was to have the 2 boats, one on the free dock, and potentially make some money. That's obviously out of the window. It's now about how we can save as much money out of the situation as we can, and yeah, that's what this option would be. The pros, we could still salvage everything we want to salvage off the boat. It's going to be less expensive in the long run. We've got more control over where the boat goes. I guess it wouldn't be seen as a complete failure if we found a way to do it ourselves. Unless it sank, of course. The lifeboat would tow if I could ensure the boat would float. Maybe, again, we're talking I don't know. The original price I thought was actually way lower than it actually is. People have said around 1, some have said $2,000 to tow the boat. So yeah, eventually it's going to have to get paid, and I will come on to it in the finances episode. I keep promising everyone as to why being in French debt is not really an ideal situation regarding residency and all the rest of it. And I joked about this, and I shouldn't have joked about it on Facebook, but you know, YouTube, I think, knew I was joking, Facebook didn't, but I might not end up in a Marseille prison. So I did mention in the last video, you know, and since then there's been another little bit of questioning by the police. The boat authorities and the ones that are meant to deal with it are the ones dealing with it. As I say, I haven't, I may as well say I haven't ran, you know, they're aware it's my boat that's on the beach, they've got all my details, etc. Cons to doing that. Yeah, might not have to go to a Marseille prison, but might end up in a Marseille hospital if it goes wrong. It's going to involve having to tip a boat up onto, straight, and propping it with some stilts. Sorry, get a cold in the middle of all of this. Propping it with some stilts, and from there bodge fixing. You know, by bodge fixing I mean, so we can do it from the outside. You'd be talking weeks, and there will be a video where I show you the damage to the boat, but you know, take you ages to do cut back the interior sort of trim from the inside to get to the fiberglass. Basically what we'd do is a big sheet of fibre and epoxy, or just something, glued and even bolted on, so that the boat can't leak. It's hard to tell yet if the hull damage is also under the waterline. It looks to be above the waterline, but there is also keel damage, So what we try and do is, before the keel goes up, because it's only the front two bolts that appear to be bad, so get something to stick and seal that, and then when it went up onto the keel, leave it for a bit in the weight while that sets, and see if it pushes the bolts back into place. If so, just find a way to like make sure that stays attached. All of that stuff, you can imagine, is not going to be like an easy task. It's going to involve having to find some other people, etc. But is there any more cons? Finding the resources, it's not foolproof, and time is limited. But yeah, they're the four options. The one from the last video: to run, using a private company, letting the authorities do it, which is kind of the same as running, I guess, but not. It's letting the authorities do it, but knowing I'm going to get the bill. Or try and get the boat off the beach myself. So it is really just a case of crisis management, I guess, at this point. People have asked, is the boat dead? It's hard to tell, but you know, I'd love to sit here and say, no, we're going to get it working again, but the reality is the amount of money it would cost to make that boat okay again, and, you know, structural damage, all the rest of it. It's one thing towing it into a port, but, you know, sailing it and putting it under pressure, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to try do that. So is it dead? I'm not going to say yeah just yet. We'll see what damage is there, but the value of the boat, just as it was, I felt like it could have made some money, whether it had been from this boat or that boat. That was the plan. But, you know, as it is now, we're talking probably too many thousands. So again, we'll see. It'd be nice to, yeah, we're not going to let a boat die, but at the minute I'm just thinking about getting it off the beach in the time I have to get off the beach. So yeah, the conclusion, I guess, is option 4, save it ourselves. Yeah, option 4, save it ourselves, is probably, you know, we can give it a go. We've got 12 days, so countdown on. If we can't do it, did we make it that much worse? Maybe, but we may as well try. Yeah, what I'm quickly going to talk about now, because I don't think videos... It's good when you write things down, because you actually say what you meant to say rather than just waffle on. Probably waffled a bit, but home. So I'm going to quickly touch on it in this video. Hopefully, you know, in an ideal world, what happens is I show that there's a reason I always say France is home. Everybody, not everybody, but I get all the time, you just need to go back home. I've said before, well, where's home? I know more people here, even in this town I'm at now, in Cannes, and, you know, when I posted the video Shipwrecked on a Beach, my phone quite quickly was getting messages from people I've met over the time I've been doing this, and for me this does feel like home. And, you know, even the guy who gave me this boat that I'm in now, he's been like really helpful throughout all of this, and stop saying but in an ideal world, maybe I can show you why I say France is home. There's another room. Because it is, and, you know, home is where you was born, etc. But I've not lived there for a long time, and if I did just go back there, I'd probably know less people. I'd know less people than I know here now. So, and as I say, a guy came and, well, may as well update you on it, helped me get the stuff off the boat. He commented on YouTube. That's amazing. Come all the way from Cannes, and yeah. So I would say home is where the boat is, but it is, isn't it? And that's what I've been trying to protect for a while. And there's a bit more about why France, and you know, it's where my residence is attached to, and don't know where the card is now, because I'll tell you exactly the date left on it, but them residencies are gold dust. And I'm not rich, obviously, but what's the most valuable thing I've got? It might be that French residency, because I was just in the right place at the right time once upon a time, and because of that I've got that, and it's, you know, I really wouldn't want to lose it. So yeah, people's offers of support, as I say, has been amazing so far. And yeah, I half expected I was going to put these videos on and just get a real backlash. And I will get on to doing it for views, because it's been mentioned more than once, and I just want to clear that up. But I'll do it at the end of the video. Another thing I'll say is the authorities are largely on my case. I've never felt as wanted in my life. Phone's ringing every day. So yeah, I was saying I'm having some trouble with overheating, and I don't know why it's happening. But yeah, the authorities are largely on my case. It's a daily why is the boat not moved? Why is the boat not moved? Just to end this, I have to say a huge thank you to everyone who's commented. I'm working my way through the comments, and everybody who's supported. I'll make a separate video about that, because I think it probably warrants a bit more than a quick end of video thank you, so that's what I'll do. And it has been mentioned, doing it for views more than once, and to put into context, get out of the sun a little bit, to put into context what you were making a YouTube video. Yeah, of course I didn't put my boat on the beach to try and get some views on YouTube, but it's just silly, it's madness. Like, I had a plan how I was going to earn some money by the two boat situation. I just didn't yet get around to saying it, but that was the plan. And yeah, I don't know, maybe it looks a bit suspect that this other boat is here, but that's definitely not the case. I've lost quite a lot of money in stuff on that boat. If I'd have done all this on purpose, I'd have got everything off the boat first. And I've been back to the boat, I've salvaged what I can, and yeah, I think the people who watch this all the time know that wouldn't be the case anyway. So yeah, going forward, I'll be back to explain a little bit more about what the plan is, but I think option 4 is where we're going. As I say, there's resources there, maybe it can be done, and what I'll try to do is show on YouTube, because it has been YouTube, and again, going back to my thank you for the last couple of months, you know, it's been YouTube and the kind people who have supported and stuff that's kind of kept me afloat, so I'm grateful for that. There is a link to Coffee on Patreon. More than one person has mentioned that I should have set up a GoFundMe. I mentioned in on the actual boat shipwrecked video that I weren't there to do that. However, 2 people have said you should have done it. If there was a link, we'd have put something, so maybe I will do that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Not necessarily that you'd support it. To me, as I've mentioned before, it's like actively saying help me. What I would say with that is it would probably be a GoFundMe to get me back on the water, not necessarily a GoFundMe to rescue the boat. I'm going to try to do that myself, or with the help of some others, and put that onto YouTube. And yeah, there'll be a couple of short videos coming out about finances, how I ended up in this situation in the first place. Ollie, you'll be glad to know there'll be a video about why there might be no such worse thing than a free boat. As I say, you know, I aren't planning on giving up just yet, so I know opinions divided on what's best for me, etc. And until I do get that episode on where I get to explain financially why I choose to stay in France, I get that it doesn't make sense to everyone, but they're the options I have with a boat. As I say, I'm probably going to try go ahead with option 4, and I'm also going to address in an upcoming video a lot of the comments that have been on. One such says, you know, unlucky, or is it just laziness and a lack of motivation? And that comment alone I could delve into a bit deeper, because it's just not that, it's not that simple. Where I was up to before this happened, and actually the videos are still sat there waiting to just click publish on YouTube, is the videos back in May, June, when I'd got back to that boat and I was trying to get it ready to go. And you know, you get enough setbacks. I think lazy is the wrong word, but I will do an episode about that too. So yeah, there we are. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And you know, if nothing else, people say to me like, do you not have more important things to be doing than putting videos on YouTube? Yeah, maybe, but you know, I set out to show the realities of living on a boat with no budget, and this has been maybe the biggest hurdle yet. So for that reason, I should put it on. So yeah, with that said, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.